Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shape Your Truth podcast. And this is a podcast where we are here to empower you to live your authentic self. And I'm your host, Dr. Kamika. And today we have our special guest with us, Katrina Fitten. And she is a beacon of financial empowerment for women everywhere. Okay. I'm so thrilled to have her today. Katrina is the CEO and CFO of New Day for Financial Services. Katrina is a certified master financial coach who has dedicated her career to helping women build their dream businesses and create generational wealth. Katrina, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kamika, for having me today. Glad to be here.
All right. Katrina, can you share with us a little bit about your personal journey from being led to become a successful financial coach and CEO?
Yes, absolutely. You know what? It's really about, when I was little, my mom told me, she said, you know what? You need to go to school. You need to
Mhm.
graduate from college and you need to get you a good job. Okay. You get you
Mhm.
that good job and you stay at your job for 45 years, just like I did. Right.
Right.
And because that's what my mom did. Right. So that's
Mhm.
all I knew. And she, really brought up in a low income family where she was like, hey, if you want to go to college, you need to get your scholarship, right? Or financial aid or what have you. But yes, I did just that. I went to school and I graduated from college on a full scholarship from Texas A&M University. And I tell you, I got me a job. And I got that job and I worked on that job. I did everything. I got promoted. I'm telling you, I did exactly what she told me to do. I got me my new car, new house. I was doing the doggone thing, really. Almost making six figures. I'm telling you, I was successful. All the certification, all the degrees and everything. And literally one day I was called into HR, didn't know that they was going through a restructure. And I got laid off, Kamika. I'm talking about after you have really put all into the job. I mean, you're the first one to get there, last one to leave. I mean, you are the one they can depend on. You have moved up the corporate ladder, but you get laid off. They didn't think about what was going to happen after the fact. They was thinking about their bottom line and how they were restructuring. And when that happened to me, I was like, you know what? No problem. Because guess what? I got degrees. I got certification. I got experience. I'm going to be able to find me another job easily. No problem. And so that's what I did. I began to start interviewing and doing all of the things. And lo and behold, what I didn't know, Kamika, is this. I didn't know that it was going to be almost 7 months before I actually got a job. I mean, I'm telling you, I was interviewing and people was like, you was overqualified, you was underqualified, they decide to go with someone internal, or, they decide to not hire, all hiring freeze, whatever. I mean, I'm telling you, I got every answer but the right answer. And literally start going through my savings. I had to start dipping into my 401k. And I mean, I'm telling you, I had to make some really hard decisions of really selling my house during the time of the pandemic, not the pandemic, but the 2008, real estate crash, right? And had to sell my house for less than what it was worth. And I'm telling you, I got into a very dark place, Kamika. I really felt like God had let me down. I felt embarrassed. I felt disappointed. I mean, I was in a dark place. I was just like, why God is not answering my prayer? He's not giving me direction. He's not opening up doors. I had to depend on other people to help me to put meal on the table. I mean, all the things. And I tried to keep it from my family as long as I could. And lo and behold, I had to go ahead and, your mama have instinct, right? She called me one day. She was like, hey, what you doing? Are you at work? you know, I was like, well, not quite. And, I had to make a really hard decision. And that was, I had to, at 30 some years old, go back home and live with my mom. I mean, you have to understand, I was the first. I was the first to graduate from college. I was the first to get that BMW. I was the first that they was like, oh, Katrina has made it. I was the inspiration for my siblings after me to go to college, right? And so for me to come back home, this was an embarrassment that I would never, ever forget. As I was laying down in my childhood bedroom, looking at the ceiling, looking at my childhood trophies and posters on the wall. Like, this is not happening. I got to be in a bad dream. And I'm telling you, with tears running down my eyes, I said, God, I need you to open up a door. And I began to cry out to him. And one day out of nowhere, he spoke to me to move to Georgia. And I was like, oh my God, he finally gave me direction. And lo and behold, 2 weeks later, I got a call from a recruiter saying, we have a job opening in Georgia. And I knew then, I said, wow, this is it. I already knew before I went to the interview. I already knew this was the open door because I lived in Texas. I grew up in Texas all my life. And so I went to that interview knowing that it was my job. And lo and behold, I got the job offer. And they moved me there without any cost of my own, moved all of my things, all my car, everything, paid for it all. And I began to build a whole nother life in Georgia where I got double for my trouble. I mean, I'm telling you, everything that I had lost was restored unto me double and bigger and more. And I'm telling you, I even found my husband here. My husband found me rather here in Georgia and didn't know that God was just shaking me up and changing my atmosphere and putting me in a place where I knew nobody. I knew nobody in Georgia, but I came here on faith because I had a word from God. And when I got here, this is the revelation that I got. And that was this. Not only was it a new day for me, but I knew that I was called to help other people to have a new day for you. And so that's how New Day for You Financial came about, is because I made a decision to making a commitment that I would never be in a position where I would have another broke day in my life. I would never be in a position where I would not know how to be prepared for an emergency like that again. I would never be in a position where I would have one stream of income. And because that's what happened. I had one stream of income. And when that income dried up, I had to use everything that I had to try to make it. And so I decided to go to school to learn financial literacy, everything about finances. I began to take courses. I hired coaches. I listened to podcasts. I read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich. And I went to Financial Peace University and I became a certified financial coach for Dave Ramsey. And I was a financial coach for him for a long time. And I decided to start my own business. And that's when I began to start teaching others, helping others to be able to get out of personal debt, helping others to restore their put financial systems and structure in place. And, but what happened is this. Later on, I said, I want to start helping businesses do the same because people wanted to start their business. And I was like, I need to help them to do the same. And what I found out is that people didn't have money to start their business, Kamika. It was like, how? Do I go in my 401k? Do I go in my bank account? And that's what they were doing. And so I had a financial coach. I'm a financial coach. I had a financial coach. And he told me, he said, Katrina, what you need to do, he said, there are women entrepreneurs who are overlooking the best strategy there is. And he said, you need to tell them about funding. And I was like, funding, what do you mean? He said, funding, it is utilizing other people's money to be able to start their business and to get them a head start. And it's what the rich do. And I was like, wow, you have to teach me that. And he taught me everything, put me in contact with all of the contacts that I needed. And really, I started leveraging it on my own and was able to, obviously take my business to the next level by leveraging other people's money. And this is what I do every day, is teach other entrepreneurs how to leverage other people's money by being able to, get funding for their business. So that's kind of the story of how I made it. Here I am 5 years later, by going through a trial that I didn't think I was going to be able to live through. But God took me through that in order for me to help others. And so that's why I'm so passionate about what I do today, to make sure that people have multiple streams of income. You're on mute. I think I can't hear you. There you go.
And she is very, very, very passionate about what she does. And I've had the pleasure of hearing her speak multiple times at different functions that we attend together. And she is a phenomenal speaker in sharing this story. And I would want to ask Katrina, how did you know that you were being led by God? Was it a voice telling you, or would you just say, I'm going to listen to it? Or did you just say, oh, that's just me talking? How did you know?
Oh my God, that is an awesome question. And you know what? And I think that oftentimes, like all of this time where I was praying, right? And, waiting on an answer, fasting, doing all of the things, reading scripture, quoting scripture. I mean, all you can imagine of speaking positive, whatever. And nothing happened. But what I did find out is that when you are in a posture of waiting to hear direction and guidance, you have to get in a place where you're quiet. And oftentimes it requires you to do something outside of the norm.
Right.
And I don't know if for those of your listeners who are familiar with scripture, I think that I'm reminded about the scripture about Abraham. He was just saying, with his child, the burning bush. You know about the burning bush, right? The burning bush. Well, he said, would you sacrifice your son, your only son, right? And it was like, okay, would you actually do it? And he was like, yes. No, was it? Let me see. Was it Abraham? The son, the burning bush. I'm trying to remember who it was. But the point I'm trying to make is that it was a sacrifice that I had to make, meaning that would I be willing to go back home to be able to get a new start? And so what I mean by that is that sometimes we have to do things that are outside the norm that may sometimes cause us to do something outside of the norm. And while we are waiting on an answer verbally for direction, sometimes it requires for you to take some action, meaning that I just want to see, will you do exactly what I told you to do? And that is, he said, I want you to go back home, sell your house, go back home to live with your mom. And when I got to my mom in my lowest place, when I got quiet, that's when within my spirit, I heard the voice within me. So what I was saying was that, how he was saying, I want to see if you're going to obey. So I'm going to tell the story over again. And so you asked the question. So that was a good question. How do I know the voice and knowing how to get direction from God? And so what I was saying was this. When you are listening to hear a voice from God and direction from Him, sometimes you have to get in a quiet place. And sometimes not only get in a quiet place, but sometimes it requires you to do something outside of the norm, meaning that you are doing something that is like crazy. Like, why would I do that? And so he asked him to sacrifice his son. And he was like, okay, I'll do it. And so that's what I had to do. It was like, okay, he said, go back home. That was the most embarrassing thing that I was overlooking. I didn't know that I had to like die to myself because I was trying to keep it from my family, that what I was going through, it was pride that was like, no, I'm not going to let anybody know because I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be a failure in their eyes. And I don't, all of the things that they would think about me and all of that. But when I laid down my guard and I said, you know what, it doesn't matter now. I don't care who knows. I'm going to go ahead and move back home. That was the thing that was holding me back from me getting my answer and hearing from God the answer. Because once I did that and I died to myself and I humbled myself, then and only then is when God spoke within my spirit. I heard him within my spirit. It was an audible to me. I'm sure it wasn't an audible outward. It was an audible inward voice that said, move to Georgia. And I'm like, oh my God. I was so shocked. I was just on the floor boohooing because I was like, I've been waiting all of these days and months for this answer. And I really believe that the trigger for really hearing from God is to do something, not only from a traditional sense, but sometimes you do something that's crazy. Like it's like something he's trying to get out of me. And what I felt that it was me being prideful and not wanting my family to know that I was really going through a hard trial, right? And once I went ahead and just revealed and confessed that, you know, this is what I'm going through and I need help, and I moved back home, my mom, that's what opened up. So sometimes when you're not hearing from God, you really have to ask yourself, what is it that I have that's within my heart that potentially may be hindering me from hearing and getting that direction from Him?
Yeah, that's so important. And yeah, on here we talk about the whole person. So spirituality, religion, faith is all incorporated into that. So yeah, we talk about that here on our radar audience too.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna move on to ask you another question. And let's see. Area of financial health is crucial and is as crucial as our physical and mental health. Why do you believe financial health is so important?
Wow, you know what? So oftentimes, you know, we think about our physical health, right? And we're trying to make sure that we exercise, we eat right, we do all of the things. But what we have to also realize is that physical health is so very important. And if you don't pay attention to it and do the proper things in your financial aspect of your life, you will look up and you will find out that it will let you down, right? And so financial health is very, very important. And so you have to, first of all, learn about it, right? You have to learn what I call financial literacy, become literate in finances, learn about your finances. And so for people who I oftentimes are speaking with are business owners or those who want to be in business. And so I teach them about cash flow management. You know, I teach them about their financial statements. I teach them about, you know, what it takes to be able to have a profitable business. I teach them how to not only get funding, but how to deploy that funding so that you can get a cash on cash return so that you can pay it back. all types of
Mhm.
financial health. And so you have to have a meeting with your finances, meaning that at least once a week. I mean, I say every day, look at your bank account, see what's going in, what's coming out, look at your balances, hire your bookkeeper, or either you have your some type of financial software that you can use to help you to give you the financial statements so that you can look at what your income is, what are your expenses, which is really big because you think about it in the today's we have what we call a debit part, and you can get really out of hand in a minute if you're not looking at the things that are coming on your debit card or you're
Mhm.
swiping it, right? And so you
Mhm.
have to find out, making sure that you may have opted into some subscriptions, and it's like, oh my God, I'm not even using this. I ain't been using it. You need to
Mhm.
cancel your subscriptions because you're not utilizing it. So those types of things that can hinder your financial health is expenses. And another thing is that you want to make sure that your income is more than your expenses and you have something left. You're not just living paycheck to paycheck. You want to make sure that you know exactly what your break even number is when you have products and services. How much does it take for you to provide that service? And if your price is too low, you'll find out that you may have clients and you may have revenue coming in, but your expenses are way more than your revenue you have coming in. And so financial health is very, very important. And you have to have a regular scheduled meeting, just like you have a scheduled doctor's appointment to do
Mhm.
care. The prevention care for financial health is having regularly scheduled meetings and looking at your bank accounts, your bank statements, your financial planning. Looking at your stocks, looking at your 401k, looking at your IRAs. All of those things that you may be utilizing as a retirement planning. You want to make sure that you are sitting down with a regular scheduled meeting with your financial planner, with your CPA,
Mhm.
tax strategist, so that
Mhm.
you can make sure that you're not paying too much taxes. So
Right.
all of these things are really, really good to help you to maintain good financial health.
Right. So what I hear you saying is you can't afford to be lazy
There you
financially.
go.
Yeah, you have to be doing your financial workouts.
Yeah, and you know what? And this is the other thing that you want to, if you were to ask me, what prevents people from having good financial health, and I would have to say, oftentimes, just like in your mental health, there are what we call financial traumas,
Mhm.
right? That you can go through in your life that can prevent you from having good financial health. And you have to deal with those things. And sometimes you have to have financial therapy.
Mhm.
There are financial therapists that are able to identify those different traumas in your life that may be preventing you from getting past that. So, I do financial coaching, and sometimes you have to go through your money. I go through my clients' money story, to
Mhm.
help them to identify what traumas they may have. Like
Mhm.
for example, if a child, when they were little, they went through their mom got divorced, when they were young, and they noticed that when their parent was together, they were able to do things. And maybe now, once they get divorced, all of a sudden they're in a smaller place. They're not afforded with certain things, or they always hear their mom talking about the child support and it not being paid, and we can't do it because the child support ain't. I mean, just all of these things that
Mhm.
cause trauma in a
Yeah.
child. And when you grow up, it's just like, I don't want to get married because I'm thinking about, hey, the trauma that may happen if we get divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so many things.
Yeah, I can relate to that. And then I was thinking too, like what you learn, patterns, spending patterns that you
Spending
learn
matters.
from your parent. I can say I inherit a lot from my mom, some of her spending traits, but I also can relate to what you just said. I remember growing up, it seemed like we had everything. And, my dad at that time, my mom still didn't work because we had all these kids, but
Mm-hmm.
his income was taking care of everything, right? We lived good. We got to go on trips. We got to have people over and go with us on trips. And I always invited a friend to come, things
Yeah.
like that. But then, my dad had these kids in the Navy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the child support came from them other kids, and it
See?
was a whole new life after that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so people start operating out of scarcity, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, limiting beliefs, the whole lot of limiting beliefs. If you've always heard that, we don't have the money for that, put that back, limiting beliefs about being broke and money don't grow on trees and money, the root of money is evil. No, it's the love of money is the root of all evil. That's all those, if they're got money, that mean they doing something crooked. They're doing something, all of those limiting beliefs.
Not a pride kind of thing.
You have to renew your mind and really reprogram your mind and your thinking about money. That's why sometimes business owners, they don't want to charge money for things because they're just like, oh my God, no, that's too much. They just have a scarcity mentality.
And all of that can complicate our whole well-being, either run over into our health, into how we function on a daily basis, and our happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So but if you could give us these women that's out here, some basic financial literacy skills, like they needed to go today and do this.
Yes. So the first thing I would say to people is this about your money, the basics, the bare basic. And I alluded to it earlier, and that is this. You need to look at your money. Look at it. And I know sometimes people were like, well, I don't have enough of it. That's all I can think of. If I look at my money, all I can think of, I don't have enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but the thing is that you have to look at your money. So this is something that everyone in the audience can do. And that is go get 3 months of bank statements. Get those 3 months of bank statements and get you 2 highlighters. Okay. You take one highlighter and you put the things that you absolutely have to have. Like you got to have your mortgage, your lease, your car. It's like your house, your shelter, your internet, a phone, just things that is like you absolutely have to have. You put that in yellow. Okay. You got to have insurance. You got all of those things that are an absolute that you have to have. Okay. And the things that are left, you put in blue, and those are things that you just got. You went out to eat a whole lot. You got all of these different channels on your cable.
Right.
You got, all these extra things that you have that is not absolute. You went and you did your nails 3 times this month. You did a whole bunch as you put those things in blue, highlight them in, another different color. And what you do is then you take a pink and put your income, what income you had coming in. And so you take your income and you minus all the absolute expenses, see what you have left. And then according to how much you have left, you want to make sure that you put in there at least 10%, pay yourself. Okay. Make sure you pay yourself, meaning you pay yourself, puts money in savings, put something aside. Okay. From the amount you got left. And then the whatever you have left, you say that's for your extra stuff. And from there, you're able to kind of put together a spending plan. I always don't call them budgets. I call them spending plans because you have to have a plan for your money, or your money will have a plan. I promise you.
That was my next question. How can we create a budget?
Yeah, you have to put together a plan for your money because before you get it, you have to have a plan for it. I always say you have to have a mission for your money. You have to have a mission for your money because you have been given money to be a steward over. Okay. And so how you steward your money is how much money you will get more money, right?
Mhm.
Because you're showing that you are a good steward over it and you're
Mhm.
able to get blessed with more because of your stewardship. And
Mhm.
that means you can be trusted with more.
Right.
And
Right.
once you can be trusted with a certain number, then that's how we know that you can get an increase because now you've been trusted. And I always tell people, and they say, "Oh my God, I got to if I could had more money, if I just had a better job and making more money." And I always tell the answer is the same. It does not matter how much money you make. It is
Mm.
how you manage the money that you have,
Right.
because it's the same thing. Because if you're an overspender when you're making,
And then you're
50,000
gonna
a
be
month, you're going to be an overspender making 5 million a month.
Yeah.
So it's those practices. So one practice is this: three things I'm going to give the audience, and that is this: have a practice of looking at your money, making sure you're
Mhm.
not overspending. Have
Mhm.
a practice of having a spending plan, which is a budget.
Spending plan.
And then three, have a practice of paying yourself.
And the practice of paying yourself. Okay. Those are really important.
Yes.
That's speaking volumes to me, even.
Yes.
Okay. What strategies do you recommend for saving and investing? Or is it saving and investing or saving or investing?
It's saving and investing all day, all day. So I think that for those of you guys who are having problems with saving, I say the first thing that you are to do is to first look around your house and see what it is that you're not using. I always tell my clients that they say, "Well, I can't save. I don't have enough. I'm already underwater, borrowing Peter, paying Peter and Paul, and, all of the
Mhm.
things." I say, look around your house first. Look around your house because there are things that you're not utilizing in your house that you can literally put on eBay. You can put on different sites to sell. Um,
Mhm.
Easily, sites like Nextdoor and whatever, all of these sites where, because literally, this is one thing I did. I looked around my house and I have this storage area, and I'm like, wait a minute, I had this Instapot. I know one day I had really good plans for that Instapot because I saw that YouTube video and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this Instapot. I'm gonna make all these meals, right? But
Yeah.
that Instapot was in that box and had never been used, or it may be lightly used, right?
Mhm.
Take that and you literally go and take pictures of it, and because I still had the box, everything, I hadn't even never used it. But I went on Amazon and I was able to copy like the
Image.
features and
Mhm.
the picture, and I put it on Nextdoor. You can put it on Facebook Marketplace. You can put it on all these different sites. There's so many of them that are out there, especially clothes and shoes and purses and all this kind of stuff. You can sell things there. I told one of my clients, she had a baby like 4 years ago. I'm like, go get all that baby stuff, all those things, sanitize them, wash them, clean them, gently used things, and you can take them to resale shops. You can sell them online, all of the things, and people are able to make hundreds of dollars just by getting rid of stuff that's in your house. You got too much stuff. And
Yeah.
you can use it, and you ain't gonna never get back in them size clothes. Come on, let it go, and make room for new things. And so that's for the person who don't have they feel like they don't have enough to save. Just find something around your house. Number
Mhm.
two, I always say for those who do have money, you have a job and you're just up and down sometime, then I say put your savings on auto. Put your savings on auto. And I recommend a high yield savings account. A high
Mhm.
yield savings account, meaning that it's a savings account that you usually get 4 to 5% for your savings. And this money is for your quote unquote emergency fund. So you want to at least have at least $1,000 emergency fund and have it in a high yield savings account or a money market account.
Mhm.
And some companies that do high yield savings accounts are like Ally, that's an online bank. Ally, they do 4 and 5%. A lot of online companies do high yield savings accounts that are very good rates. And sometimes you can get 5%. I think they're doing almost 5% on your money, because you guys do know, putting your money in the bank, you ain't making but like what, point zero zero. I don't know how many it is. All it is nothing. Penny.
Yeah.
And so you really want to make sure that you're putting your money in a high yield savings account or a money market account. Or if you don't need the money for a while, then obviously you can do CDs and, all of the other types of products that are out there. Get with your banker and your lending institution. They can help you with that. Obviously you can, invest in stocks and things of that nature as well. So, but that's the savings that I recommend for everybody to do. But at the very least, pay yourself something. I always say start out with 1% and work your way up to at least 10%, so that you can make sure that you are paying yourself. Because remember, this is a habit that you are doing, is that when you get more money, you're going to be able to pay yourself more.
Right. So making good financial habits. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a combination of saving and investing.
Okay. What strategies would you recommend, or how can women start building that generational wealth that
Oh,
you
yes.
hear so much about?
This is what I always am talking about, because my company, this is what we do. We help to create female first generation millionaires. And this is to be able to have multiple streams of income, meaning that I say that every person should have a business. Right? Everybody should have a way that they can look in their life and say, what is it that I love to do as a passion, or whether it is something that you have a lot of experience with, or some way that you want to impact somebody's life. Go into business with a product or a service. And that's one stream of income. And then you can have another stream of income by doing products, like books. You want to be able to make royalties on that, which becomes your intellectual property, right? And so you can get copyrights, and you're able to, number one, have a curriculum that you can license out, or you can write a book that you can obviously sell. I mean, so many different ways. But you want to have multiple string of incomes. And so what way you do that is you want to curate passive incomes mostly. For those who have services like coaching services, you want to have your subscription service. A lot of people say you don't have a business unless you have a subscription service. And that is that it's a service that you provide on an ongoing basis, and they are subscribed to it once a month. Yeah. And so that helps you to have passive income and reoccurring income along with your main service. And then for those who have products, you can also bundle. I tell my clients, you can bundle your products. So you may if you sell one product, you say, okay, if it's this, what do they need with it? What's the complement to it? What else would they need? Just ask your question. What else would they need with this? And then put it in a bundle and make it a subscription service. Where they get this, guest box, with all of these things in it to help them, with your products. So a mystery, product, all of these things that you can do. But you want to make sure that you can have multiple streams of income. You can have your job, you can have your business, you can have the stock market, you can have a passive income, all of these things, intellectual property. You want to have multiple streams of income. And so this is how you do generational wealth, because what happens is this: you're able to build that business up into a level where you're able to take all of those products and you put those inside of a limited liability corporation, which is an LLC. And then from there, you're able to put those all in a trust, right? So that it can be protected from, probate court and all those things. And the best asset is another one is real estate. You can buy properties, you can buy multi unit properties, you can stay in one unit and rent out the other four. And after living in there a year, you can put another person in there and start the process over again. So a combination of real estate, products and services, the stock market, intellectual property, and your job, you should be able to save your money in a way where you're able to gain generational wealth by being able to save that for the next generation of moving forward.
Yeah, that's very important. We don't. I don't know. It's cultural, or it's maybe a poor thing. You just don't talk about these. We don't have these conversations often. So, yeah, that's very important, and maybe have these conversations with your kids.
Exactly. Yeah. You want to be able to leave thing in a trust fund for the people that are left after you. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, do you have some success stories or client success stories?
Oh my goodness. Yes. So many client success story. I always talk about one of my clients. Her name is Angeline. I always talk about her because she was one of my highest funded clients. And so she, as a tax strategist, she needed more income really, and she needed more money to be able to really take her business to the next level. And she was like, oh my God, I just need some type of funding, a loan. She had went different places or thought about it, and she was like, you know what, I just like she's not getting denied, right? Or you're not getting enough that's offered to her. And so we were able to bring on as a client and helped her to get over $200,000 in funding, to the tune of term loans, business credit cards, all of the things, and all of these things literally is what I always tell people is not shown up on your taxes. When you get business funding, you don't have to pay taxes on it. I don't think people really realize that. And so you're able to take that money, put it into your business, and to be able to make money off of it and then pay it off and then rinse and repeat. And the other secret that people don't talk about also, which a lot of my clients, I have a client who got business credit. When you're able to build business credit in your business, you're able to get 0% financing on your funding. And so that's one of the success. I have another success client where she was in real estate and she was like, man, I had no idea about business credit or business funding. And we ended up getting her 55,000 worth of business credit cards, and where she was able to use it for her Bed Bath and Beyond, for her bed and breakfast. And she was able to buy I think she got some one of those skis things that you go on the water skis. She ended up changing one of her bedrooms, one of the rooms in the house to another bedroom, so she was able to charge more for more bedrooms in the bed, B&B, and she was able to have more people to rent because she had actually different things for them to do as activities on the property. All able to do this because of having business credit. And so this is what we do to help. And that's just to name two of them. Of course, we have, matter of fact, we've funded in just the last year over $1 million. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what we do. We help businesses to be able to get money to start their business, to grow their business, and to scale their business to the next level.
Okay, so those are some good examples, and probably somebody been thinking about a business out there, and Katrina just gave us some excellent models that we could follow. The idea that you have is not too far-fetched. There is a way. Okay, so you get the funding, and you can be able to make that happen. So, Katrina, so we made the decision. We're going to do it. We're going to go out and we're going to take care of our business, our account, our
Yes.
personal, everything. How can we stay accountable?
Hey, how can we stay accountable? I always say, it's always good to have you an accountability partner. Whether I always say, if you want to go faster, you want to hire you a master. So obviously, I recommend that you get you a money coach, a financial coach. Some people say, well, what's the difference between a financial coach and a financial planner? Well, you know what? Your financial planner, they have a fiduciary responsibility to tell you how to invest your money and get you ready to retire. But a financial bit and money coach, what we help you to do is be accountable, right? We're helping you to be accountable. We are showing you ways of how to make your money, how to extend your money, how to get money, help you to really make more money, and help you to put tools and systems in place to help you to be consistent so that you can grow generational wealth. This is what we do.
That's awesome. Okay. So so we don't fall for the traps. What are some common mistakes that you see women make, and what should we do to avoid those things?
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to talk about, just a woman in her household, right? First. And then I'll talk about a businesswoman. So a woman in her household, I think the traps is that when we do not have a spending plan, that's a trap, a budget. When you do not have a plan for your money, you are going to be trapped every time. And I tell people, I volunteer at the women's shelter every month, and I teach financial literacy. And I tell the women every time, and I say, listen, if you do not have a plan for your money, meaning that, for example, if you're taking a job that's $10 an hour, but your bills is more than that, you need to come up with a better plan, right? And I always tell them, you may want to, you have a job, but also have you a side hustle. Have you more than one place where you get an income? Make sure that you're not, because that's a mistake. We don't have a spending plan, and we don't have different areas and streams where you're getting income. So those are two mistakes just for women, period. Because if we find out we have children and they will have you spending, and you are literally find yourself spending more than what you have coming in, right?
Yeah.
And so for a businesswoman, I say the mistake that a businesswoman makes when it comes to their finances oftentimes is that they focus on the revenue and not focus on the profit. Meaning that they're thinking about, oh, I got to make a sale, I got to make a sale, and I got to make a sale. And you have sales coming in, but what you hadn't realized is that the more you increase in sales, the more expenses that you are. And so you will look up, and yeah, you have the sales coming in, but your expenses, you have to hire somebody, you have to do all of these things to keep up, all the systems that you have to have. And you'll look up and be like, oh my God, my expenses are way more than the income that I have coming in. And I think the second mistake that business people do is that they are afraid to leverage other people's money. And because they are thinking, oh, I don't want to be in debt. Well, what people don't realize is this, when you're in business, you leverage debt in order to get you to the destination quicker. And I always tell the story about how you want you a mortgage, right? You want a house, but you're not going to save money for 30 years you're not going to wait to save $1 million in order for you to get your house, right? No, you go to the mortgage company and they lend you their money. That's other people's money. In order for you to get the house, which is collateral, they will give you the money. So you can live in the house and pay it off on term. And so it's the same thing with a business. You want to leverage other people's money so that you can make your business happen quicker and grow quicker because you're going to make the money and you're going to pay the loan off early. So that is one of the two things that I see being mistakes that women make in their home and in their business.
So Now we need to balance all of this financial goals with our health goals and our emotional, mental self things we need to do for ourselves. How are we going to do that? Which plan should we devise?
Huh? What'd you say?
What plan should we devise? So we get together and do all of this together. Say we're gonna make a one plan for our life, everything, or just these need to be separate.
Well, you know what? I think, well, obviously, we want to be whole. So that
Mhm.
means we need to include everything. We want our physical health. We want our mental health. We want our financial health, all of the, our family time, all of the things we want to be health and our self. You want to
Mhm.
have our self care. All of those things are very important. And I think that as you're making out your goals, you should have a column for each. At least
Mhm.
that's the way I do it. I have
Mhm.
things that I want to do from a mental standpoint. I have things I want to do from my home, my household. Place I want to go for vacation, for self
Mhm.
care,
Mhm.
and then I have my financial goals, and then I have my business goals. So they're all separate, but
Mhm.
really are total, all in one. You
Mhm.
put it
Mhm.
all together, because think about it, you can make all the money that you want, but if you don't have your physical health, you can't use it.
Right. Right. Mhm.
You can
Right.
have your make all the money you want, and then your family is torn
Suffer.
apart.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so you want to look at all of them to become balanced and to really become whole.
Yeah. So, Katrina, where can our listeners get more information about help from you?
Yes, yes. So obviously, I am available at contact at New Day for You Financial for any speaking engagements or anywhere that they would like me to come to talk about financial literacy, as well as I'm on IG at Money Coach Katrina Fitten. That's
Mhm.
Money Coach Katrina. Fitten as an F as in Frank, Itten. So us on IG. But yes, we would really like to give away a free business funding clarity call as
Mhm.
well for those who
Awesome.
are interested in finding out, hey, how can I get funding? We also give free clarity calls out as well.
Awesome. So that's a resource or program that Katrina offers that's going to be able to help you improve your financial health. So reach out to Katrina, go to her website and book a call with her and book a call with her team, and so that you can be able to utilize some of these things you heard today. Okay. And then I wanted to ask Katrina, what is the most rewarding part of your financial coaching and mentoring that you do? What do you get most reward out of?
Oh my God, that is such an awesome question. I mean, what really keeps me going really is to seeing my clients win.
Mm-hmm.
Like just to see that they have a business idea or they have a financial struggle, and to be able to sit down with them to help them to walk through that, give them the plan and the clarity. That's what our call is about, is to give you clarity on
Mm-hmm.
how to bring you into financial independence
Mm-hmm.
and financial dependence. That right there alone gives me so much joy to help them on their financial journey. And that's why we say New Day for You Financial. We are here to help you to fund your dreams.
Okay, Katrina, what are those key words you want everybody to know? You need to look at your key aspects. We need to remember and drive home. We need to look at our money. That's one,
Yes,
right? We
yes,
need to make a plan, our budget.
yes.
Then the third one was remind me.
So, and we want to make sure we're paying ourselves.
Make sure you're paying ourselves.
Yes,
So look at your money,
yes.
make a plan, and pay yourself. Okay,
There
in
you
the process.
there
Okay.
you go.
All right. Thank you, Katrina, for sharing all your insight. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share with us or let us know? before we
No,
go?
no, that's it. I mean, just like I began at the beginning telling about my testimony and how I went through. And so for those of you guys out there who may be going through a financial struggle, or you may have your business and may not be, making the income that you want it to be at this moment, make sure you get in a quiet place and really listen to get direction from your spirit and act upon what it is, even though it may seem crazy. Walk out on faith, because I'm telling you, it takes faith in order to really, really please God. And so, trust yourself, believe in yourself. And sometimes it takes jumping out of the plane, to really land into your destiny.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
sometime that thing in the back of your mind, that's not you. That's somebody, maybe God trying to guide you somewhere. So take some time, get quiet, and hear from Him, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you for sharing all your insight and all these empowering messages that you have and skills that you've been giving us. Even the talk has been educational for a lot of my listeners, myself included. So I love all that you said, and I'm so proud of you for all that you achieved, and I hope to do the same myself. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so thank you for listening to Shape Your Truth podcast, you guys. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. And don't forget to follow us on social media for more updates and more empowering content. And if you like to, we also do a live called Live Thrive on Facebook, where we chit chat with our co-hosts, the extra teens, and we give some parent advice. All right, so get ready, take control of your future, and get in touch with Katrina. Start your journey toward financial empowerment today. Okay, and see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.